The vast silver expanse of space stretched endlessly as Captain Ethan Hayes guided his ship toward the alien planet known as Vrylis Prime. He leaned back in his pilot's seat, glancing at the glowing display panels. The planet below shimmered with crystalline cities and forests that glowed faintly under a pale green sun. It was beautiful, but dangerous. Ethan had heard stories of the Vrylan, the planet's dominant species. Insectoid humanoids with chitin-plated bodies, multifaceted eyes, and sharp articulated limbs, they were known across the galaxy for their honor-driven culture and deadly hunting rituals. Outsiders often underestimated them, and most outsiders paid the price. Brace for landing, Ethan muttered to himself. The landing gear extended, and the ship descended slowly toward a floating platform above one of the crystal cities. As he touched down, the door opened, and a gust of warm, fragrant air filled the cabin. A figure waited on the platform, a Vrylan with deep amber eyes and sleek green chitin. She moved with fluid grace, every motion precise, every step measured. Her name was Zara, the daughter of one of the most respected families in the city. She bowed slightly. "Welcome, Captain Hayes," she said in melodic tones that carried an underlying edge of command. "The Council is pleased you have come, safely. I hope your journey was comfortable." Ethan nodded. "It was peaceful, though I expected more turbulence near the atmosphere." Zara's eyes twinkled. "Our air currents can be unpredictable, but I am glad you arrived unscathed. Please, follow me." She led him through a city that seemed alive. Crystal towers reflected the sunlight in dazzling colors, and streets were lined with glowing plants that pulsed like living lanterns. Vrylan moved with elegance, their movements both alien and captivating. Humans like Ethan could never fully imitate such grace, but they could admire it. After a short walk, Zara stopped at a towering structure. "This is my family estate. My mother, High Matriarch Zira, is hosting a ceremonial feast tonight. She enjoys welcoming new visitors." Ethan's eyebrows rose. "Ceremonial feast?" Zara smiled faintly. "You will see. Our feasts are more than meals. They are demonstrations of skill, art, and courage." Inside, the estate was magnificent. The walls shimmered like liquid glass, and the floors reflected light in a way that made every movement dramatic. Ethan could hear the faint hum of alien machines and the soft rhythmic tapping of claws on metal. At the center of the great hall, a figure stirred, Zyra. She was taller than any Vrylan Ethan had seen, her chitin polished to a deep emerald, and her eyes sharp like polished amber. Around her, other Vrylan prepared dishes with precise, almost ritualistic movements. The sound of knives slicing through exotic ingredients was accompanied by the occasional growl or hiss of alien creatures restrained nearby. Ethan stepped forward cautiously. "I am honored to meet you, High Matriarch Zira." Zyra's eyes assessed him fully, as if she could see every thought and doubt in his mind. "Captain Hayes," she said calmly, her voice like smooth steel. "We have heard much of your travels. Your reputation precedes you." Ethan swallowed, unsure if that was praise or a warning. "I hope it is good." "It is good, and it is dangerous," Zira replied. She gestured to the feast preparations. "Our guests are welcomed with hospitality, but they are also tested. This is our way." Zara leaned toward Ethan and whispered, "My mother cooks well and kills well. You may wish to remember that." Ethan chuckled nervously, unsure whether to treat it as a joke. The way Zyra's eyes narrowed suggested it was no joke at all. The feast began with an elaborate display. Chefs moved in perfect synchronization, slicing, dicing, and cooking ingredients that Ethan had never seen before. Some were plant-based, glowing faintly with natural light. Others were small alien animals, restrained and carefully prepared to show both respect and skill. Ethan watched, fascinated. He had traveled to many worlds, but never one where a meal was also a performance of deadly precision. One misstep by a chef could easily have meant injury, or worse. Yet every movement was practiced, elegant, and deliberate. Zira watched Ethan as he watched the feast. Her sharp gaze never left him, but there was no threat. only curiosity. She had a way of making one feel examined without speaking. As the meal progressed, Zara leaned closer again. "Captain, do not be afraid of our ways. Respect and courage are what we value. Strength alone is not enough." Ethan nodded. "I understand. I will try my best." "Good," Zara replied. "Tomorrow, you will see more of our world. You will see the hunt. You will see our customs in action. It is enlightening." The conversation was interrupted as Zira spoke. "Captain Hayes, would you like to see the preparation of the final dish?" Ethan hesitated. "Final dish?" "It is traditional," Zira said with a faint smile. "It tests not the body, but the mind." He followed her to a raised platform. A creature, small and agile, was being carefully restrained. The chefs demonstrated how to prepare it with utmost skill, balancing lethal precision with artistry. Ethan felt a chill, realizing the stakes were not just culinary, they were a measure of control, discipline, and understanding of life itself. Zara whispered again, "Do not fear it. Respect it. That is how you survive here." Ethan nodded, feeling both awe and apprehension. The Vrylan way was alien in every sense, beautiful, dangerous, and precise. He realized that this world would not bend to him. He must learn, adapt, and respect it, or fail. After the demonstration, the feast concluded with ceremonial toasts. Ethan raised his glass, unsure whether it was wine or some alien liquid with properties he did not know. He drank cautiously, then smiled. The Vrylan watched, analyzing every micro-expression, every hesitation. Finally, Zara guided him to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. The sky was dotted with glowing orbs, perhaps ships, perhaps distant satellites. Ethan exhaled, trying to calm his nerves. "My mother tests all outsiders this way," Zara said softly. "Some fail and do not return. Others succeed and they are honored." Ethan swallowed hard. "And what about me?" Zara's eyes sparkled with mischief and seriousness all at once. "Time will tell, human, time will tell. But for now, you have survived your first encounter. That is more than most." Ethan looked back at the great hall, where Zira's figure stood like a statue among moving chaos. He realized that this was only the beginning. The Vrylan did not do anything without purpose. Every gesture, every test, every meal was part of a larger design, and somewhere in that design, he, a simple human from Earth, had to find his place. The wind of Vrylis Prime blew softly across the balcony, carrying scents of alien flowers, distant fires, and something faintly metallic. Ethan took a deep breath. He was far from home, in a world that could easily kill him, and yet he felt a spark of excitement. He was a human, he adapted, he survived. The morning light of Vrylis Prime shimmered off the crystalline towers, painting the city in hues of green and gold. Captain Ethan Hayes awoke to the gentle hum of alien machines and the faint rustle of creatures moving through the estates, gardens. His sleep had been restless. Thoughts of the previous night's feast and Zira's sharp, assessing gaze lingered in his mind. The Vrylan did not waste words, and every gesture carried weight. A soft chime sounded, and a small door the wall slid open. Zara appeared, her amber eyes bright with unspoken amusement. "Good morning, human," she said, her tone friendly yet commanding. "Breakfast awaits, but my mother wishes to see you before the meal." Ethan rose quickly, straightening his clothes. "Before breakfast?" he asked, trying to hide the nervous edge in his voice. "Yes," Zara replied simply. "It is customary. Guests of honor meet the High Matriarch before partaking in the day's sustenance." Ethan followed her through a series of hallways. The estate seemed larger the more he explored it, each corridor opening into chambers of alien elegance, gardens with floating lights, water features that shimmered like liquid crystals, and sculptures that looked alive. Every corner seemed alive with movement, yet nothing in the estate felt chaotic. It was precise, controlled, and deliberate. Finally, they reached a grand hall at the heart of the estate. The walls reflected sunlight, casting dazzling patterns across the floor. At the far end, seated on a throne-like chair, was High Matriarch Zyra. She exuded authority and calm power. Her emerald chitin gleamed and her multifaceted eyes fixed on Ethan as if she could see through him. "Captain Hayes," Zyra said, her voice smooth and deep, "you have arrived safely. That is fortunate." Ethan bowed respectfully. "It is an honor to meet you, High Matriarch." Zyra's eyes narrowed slightly, studying him. "You are human. Rarely do humans come this far from their world. You have courage, or perhaps foolishness. We shall see which it is." Ethan swallowed. He had encountered many species during his travels, but something about Zyra made him acutely aware of his own mortality. Not fear in the sense of panic, but in the sense that every decision mattered. Zara stepped aside. "Mother," she said softly, "this is Captain Hayes. He comes as a guest, but also as a potential ally. You will see." Zyra inclined her head slowly. "Potential ally, yes, but allies must prove themselves." She gestured toward a low table. Strange devices and tools were arranged neatly, almost like instruments in a laboratory. "We test the mind as much as the body. Sit." Ethan hesitated, then moved forward. He sat carefully, keeping his movements deliberate and respectful. "Tell me, human," Zyra began. "What do you know of our culture?" Ethan paused. "I have studied the Vrylan as much as possible. Your history, your rituals, your approach to life and death. I know that honor, courage, and skill are central, and that failure often has consequences." Zyra's eyes seemed to gleam. "Yes. Few understand that our feasts, our hunts, and our tests are not merely for entertainment. They are for survival, for the continuation of knowledge, and for the respect of life, even when it ends." Ethan nodded. "I understand." "Do you?" Zyra's voice sharpened slightly, and Ethan felt the weight behind her words. He realized that understanding in theory was different from surviving Vrylan culture. Zara leaned close. "Do not worry, Captain. My mother respects truth and courage. Lies are more dangerous than failure." Zyra's gaze swept over him once more. "Many humans are clever, but cleverness alone is not enough. Strength without honor is meaningless. Compassion without courage is weakness." Ethan felt the tension in the room. Everything she said carried double meaning, and he understood that her words were both advice and warning. "Your presence here is unusual," Zyra continued. "Most humans fear our tests. Most humans leave when the first challenges arise. You have arrived and eaten from our feast without hesitation. That speaks well of you." Ethan allowed himself a small smile. "I have traveled far. I cannot afford fear to guide me." Zyra regarded him for a long moment. Then she gestured toward a small device on the table. It projected a holographic map of the surrounding wilderness. Strange, luminous creatures moved across the terrain. Some slow and graceful, others fast and deadly. "This is the Kirin wildlands," Zyra explained. "Tomorrow, you will observe the hunt. It is not merely sport. It is a test of skill, perception, and wisdom. The creatures you see are intelligent in their own ways. You must learn to respect them." Ethan leaned closer. "Observe or participate?" Zyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "Observation is part of learning. Participation is part of survival." He swallowed. The stakes were becoming clearer. This was no simple diplomatic mission. It was an initiation into a world where life and death intertwined with honor and custom. Zara touched his arm lightly. "Do not be afraid. My mother tests all who enter our world. The best way to succeed is to think like a Vrylan, but act like a human. That is a rare combination." Ethan nodded. "I will do my best." Zyra's voice softened slightly. "You will need more than courage. You will need focus, adaptability, and respect. You will also need to prove that your intentions are honorable." The Vrylan value loyalty above all. Ethan realized that Zira's words were both guidance and subtle evaluation. Every phrase carried weight. Every pause was meaningful. He understood that surviving this encounter required not only skill and bravery, but also perception and insight. "High Matriarch," Ethan said cautiously. "What is expected of me tomorrow?" "You will see," Zira replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Every guest must prove themselves or they remain strangers. Strangers are safe, but not remembered. Allies are remembered." The conversation ended as Zira signaled to a servant. A meal was brought forward, but unlike last night's feast, this was simple in appearance yet rich in flavor and complexity. Ethan ate carefully, aware that even this was a test. He noted the balance of tastes, the method of preparation, and the precision in presentation. After the meal, Zara guided him to the gardens. The estate's grounds were filled with alien flora, some luminescent, some with sharp, thorn-like appendages. Paths twisted through the gardens with bridges over reflective pools that mirrored the sky. Zara stopped near a fountain shaped like a twisting spiral of crystal. "You handled yourself well," she said softly. "Many humans would have faltered, but you did not. That does not mean the test is over." Ethan looked around, admiring the alien beauty. "I did not expect kindness in the midst of danger." Zara smiled. "Kindness is not absent here, human. But you must earn it. My mother gives respect where it is due, and she will test those who receive it." Ethan nodded, understanding the subtle lesson. He had not yet faced the true trial. The feast, the conversation, and the meal were introductions, preparations for what was to come. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in deep greens and golds, Ethan realized that his time on Vrylis Prime would challenge him in ways he had never imagined. The Vrylan culture was intricate, precise, and unforgiving, but also deeply honorable. Survival here required more than strength. It required insight, courage, and respect. Zara's voice brought him back to the present. "Come, human. Rest now. Tomorrow, the trials begin. The hunt, the customs, the lessons. They will test everything you are. But do not fear. You have already taken the first step." Ethan followed her back to his quarters, feeling a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. He knew that tomorrow would reveal much about himself, and whether he could truly earn a place in this alien world. As he lay down, he thought of Zira's sharp gaze and Zara's quiet guidance. He realized that to survive, he would need to rely not only on his human ingenuity and courage, but also on his ability to understand and respect a culture utterly different from his own. The morning sun of Vrylis Prime broke over the horizon, bathing the crystalline towers in green-gold light. Captain Ethan Hayes stood at the edge of the Kirin wildlands, his gaze scanning the wild, untamed terrain ahead. The forest stretched, endlessly, glowing with bioluminescent plants and filled with creatures both strange and deadly. Zara, beside him, moved with her usual elegance. "Today you will witness the hunt and participate in our trials. These are not mere games. They are tests of perception, courage, and strategy." Ethan swallowed, adjusting his gear. "I understand. I'll do my best." Zara's eyes sparkled with a mix of amusement and seriousness. "Do not underestimate the wildlands. Many skilled Vrylan fail the first trial. Many die. Your success depends on your mind as much as your strength." Ethan felt the weight of her words. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. An alien world where survival intertwined with tradition and honor. From the shadows, High Matriarch Zira appeared, her emerald chitin gleaming. She did not speak, but her presence alone reminded Ethan of the stakes. She gestured toward a glowing platform. Upon it lay a series of challenge markers, each representing a trial he must face. "Observe first, then act," Zira said finally. "The trials are layered. Survival is not enough. You must adapt, think, and respect the balance of life." Ethan nodded, noting the faint hum of energy emanating from the markers. Each trial was designed to test a different skill: agility, strategy, problem-solving, and courage. The first trial began immediately. Ethan stepped forward, his heart pounding. A series of vines and bioluminescent plants shifted into motion, forming a maze. Hidden among the foliage were creatures small yet vicious, testing his reflexes. Zara whispered, "They will attack if you move carelessly. Observe patterns. Wait for openings." Ethan crouched low, analyzing the movements. The creatures moved in predictable sequences, their eyes glowing in coordination with the plants. Timing and patience became his allies. With careful steps and quick reflexes, he advanced, avoiding bites and slashes. He reached the end of the maze, breathing hard but exhilarated. "You see," Zara said, smiling. "Humans can be clever when they need to be." The second trial involved a riddle of intelligence. A holographic puzzle appeared in the air, showing shifting shapes and symbols that changed constantly. Ethan studied it, recognizing patterns in the chaos. He manipulated the shapes using a combination of logic and instinct. The puzzle shifted, testing his ability to think under pressure. But slowly, piece by piece, it fell into order. Zira's voice rang in the clearing. "Cleverness alone is not enough, human. You must combine thought with action." Ethan understood. The Vrylan valued balance, strength, intelligence, and courage together. One without the others was meaningless. The third trial was perhaps the most challenging, the hunt itself. Ethan and Zara moved deeper into the wildlands, following faint tracks of a creature larger and more dangerous than anything he had ever encountered. Its movements were silent, but the occasional rustle of foliage warned of its presence. "This is not about killing," Zara explained. "It is about respect, observation, and skill. Strike only when necessary. Understand your prey." Ethan nodded, crouching low behind a glowing bush. The creature appeared, a quadruped with crystalline spines along its back, eyes that reflected light like polished amber. It moved gracefully, aware of its surroundings, as if sensing the intruder in its territory. Ethan observed carefully, noting its patterns. When it paused, he adjusted his stance, his human ingenuity coming into play. Using a combination of natural traps and careful timing, he was able to drive the creature toward a containment field without harming it. The Vrylan nearby nodded in approval. Zira's voice echoed, calm but sharp. "You show restraint. That is wisdom. Many act out of fear or arrogance. You act with balance." Ethan felt a surge of pride. The trials were not just tests of physical skill. They measured his ability to integrate knowledge, strategy, and respect for life. The fourth trial was mental endurance. A strange, glowing fungus released a hallucinogenic spore in a controlled area. Ethan's senses shifted, colors and shapes bending unnaturally. He had to navigate a path while facing illusions of threat and danger. Many would panic under the effects, but Ethan focused on his training, breathing, observation, and patience. Step by step, he moved through the hallucinatory maze, ignoring false dangers and staying true to his path. Zara followed silently, impressed. "Few humans could do this. You keep your mind clear even when your senses betray you." The final trial was a duel of skill. Zira had prepared a Vrylan warrior to spar with him, using non-lethal but sharp weapons. Ethan faced the alien, its movements rapid and precise. The duel tested reflexes, timing, and adaptability. The warrior struck fast, forcing Ethan to dodge and counter. He used human ingenuity, unexpected angles, improvised defenses, and reading the opponent's habits. After a tense exchange, he disarmed the warrior without injury. The Vrylan stepped back, acknowledging his skill. Ethan's chest heaved, sweat running down his face, but a smile formed. He had faced every trial, mental, physical, and ethical, and survived. Zira appeared at the edge of the clearing, her eyes shining with approval. "You have shown courage, intelligence, and honor, human. That is rare among your kind." Ethan bowed slightly, trying to hide his exhaustion. "Thank you, High Matriarch. I did what I could." Zara approached, her expression warm. "You did more than enough. My mother is impressed." Ethan felt a mixture of relief and triumph. He had expected danger, but the trials were more than physical. They were a test of his character. The Vrylan valued more than strength. They valued ingenuity, respect, and balance. As the sun began to set, the group returned to the estate. The air was thick with the scents of alien flora, the rustle of nocturnal creatures, and the faint metallic tang of the wildlands. Ethan reflected on the day's challenges, understanding that survival in this world was not about brute force alone. It was about thinking, adapting, and respecting the delicate balance of life. That evening, Zyra invited him to the estate's main hall. The walls glowed softly, reflecting the deep greens and blues of alien crystals. A meal was served, simpler than the feast of his arrival but carefully prepared, each dish balancing flavor, nutrition, and subtle complexity. "You have completed the trials," Zyra said as they ate. "You have proven yourself worthy of observation, of respect, and of trust. Few outsiders reach this point. Most leave in fear or fail through arrogance." Ethan listened carefully, absorbing her words. "I am honored. I did not know what to expect, but I tried to respect your culture in all that I did." "Respect is important," Zyra replied, her voice calm. "But action matters as well. You have shown both. That is why you remain here." Zara smiled. "Tomorrow, you will see more of our society. The city, the rituals, and the alliances that bind us. You are no longer merely a guest. You are a participant." Ethan's heart raced. He realized that the trials were only the beginning. Vrylis Prime was a world of depth, culture, and deadly beauty. To survive and to thrive, he would need every ounce of his courage, intelligence, and adaptability. The night deepened and Ethan walked the estate gardens alone. The soft hum of alien plants and distant creatures filled the air. He looked up at the stars, feeling both small and determined. He was far from Earth, surrounded by a culture that could easily overwhelm him. But he was human. He adapted. He persevered, and he had survived. Ethan Hayes, human, had proven himself in a world where survival required more than skill. It required balance, insight, and honor. And as he gazed into the glowing wildlands, he understood something crucial. The Vrylan did not seek to destroy those who were worthy, they sought to elevate them. The sun rose over Vrylis Prime, casting long green-gold shadows across the crystal towers. Captain Ethan Hayes stood on the balcony of Zara's family estate, watching the city awaken. The glowing streets bustled with Vrylan going about their routines, blending elegance and precision in every movement. Today he would experience the next stage of his journey, cultural integration. The trials had tested his courage, intelligence, and skill, but surviving Vrylan society required more than those qualities. Respect, observation, and diplomacy were just as vital. Zara joined him quietly, her amber eyes reflecting the morning light. "Today you will be introduced to the city's elite and attend the Festival of Warriors. It is not only a celebration, but also a display of skill, honor, and social standing. You must observe carefully and act wisely." Ethan nodded. "I understand. I'll try my best." She smiled faintly. That is all anyone can do. They moved through the streets, which were alive with glowing flora, flowing streams of liquid crystal, and floating platforms that served as walkways. Vrylan passed them with polite nods and curious glances. Some stopped to observe Ethan more closely, whispering among themselves in clicks and hums. He realized that his presence as a human drew attention. Outsiders were rare here, and most had never succeeded in the trials. Their first stop was the council hall, a towering structure of crystal and light. Inside, the room gleamed with alien artistry. Walls that shifted color with movement, floating platforms that displayed holographic symbols, and rows of seated Vrylan elders observing the newcomers. Zyra greeted them at the entrance. "Captain Hayes, this is the City Council. You have been tested and have proven yourself worthy of recognition. Observe, learn, and participate where appropriate." Ethan bowed respectfully, careful to follow the etiquette he had learned. The council's gaze swept over him like a current of electricity, sharp, assessing, and unyielding. He felt the weight of their attention, understanding that a single misstep could cause offense. The first part of the council session involved presentations of skill and accomplishments. Vrylan demonstrated feats of combat, strategy, and hunting. Each display was both beautiful and deadly, blending artistry with precision. Ethan watched closely, noting techniques that combined raw strength with intelligence and creativity. Zara whispered, "Do not be intimidated. They respect those who understand and learn, not those who show fear." Ethan nodded. He realized that, even in observation, he was being judged, not for weakness but for attention, comprehension, and respect. Next came the public festival, held in a massive plaza filled with spectators. Banners of crystal shimmered in the sunlight, and Vrylan warriors demonstrated skills in martial arts, strategy games, and hunting rituals. The festival was both a celebration and a subtle competition, highlighting individuals' abilities and alliances. As they moved through the crowd, a rival alien suitor approached. A tall, imposing Vrylan with sharp features and deep red chitin, he stepped forward with a confident air. "You are the human?" he said in a low, clicking voice. "Do you think you belong among us? You have survived trials, yes, but can you stand in society?" Ethan met his gaze steadily. "I am here to observe, learn, and respect your culture. I do not seek to dominate, only to understand and contribute." The rival sneered. "Words are cheap. Actions prove worth." He gestured toward a ceremonial combat arena. "Let us see if your skills match your speech." Zara placed a hand on Ethan's arm. "Do not underestimate him. Human ingenuity is unexpected." Ethan entered the arena cautiously. The rival attacked with speed and precision, forcing Ethan to react quickly. Using a combination of Vrylan-observed tactics and human improvisation, he dodged, countered, and read the opponent's patterns. Small traps, unexpected angles, and quick thinking allowed him to neutralize the attacks without causing injury. The crowd gasped at Ethan's ingenuity, murmuring among themselves. Many had expected the human to falter. Zira watched quietly, her expression unreadable but attentive. After several tense exchanges, Ethan stepped back, allowing the rival to strike a ceremonial finishing move. Both combatants bowed deeply, showing mutual respect. The crowd erupted in approval, acknowledging both skill and honor. Zara smiled. "You have done more than survive, human. You have shown cleverness, courage, and respect. That earns their admiration." Ethan exhaled, relief washing over him. But he knew this was only one part of integration. He would still have to navigate social alliances, ceremonial obligations, and subtle political currents within the city. That evening, a formal banquet was held in honor of Ethan's participation in the festival. The hall glimmered with floating lights, and dishes were served that combined alien flavors in ways he could barely imagine. He noted the care with which every meal was presented, understanding that even dining was a test of perception, etiquette, and awareness. Syra approached him quietly. "You handled the festival well. Many would have reacted with fear, arrogance, or rashness. You have demonstrated thought, patience, and respect. These are qualities rare among your species." Ethan bowed. "I am grateful for your guidance, High Matriarch. I only hope to continue learning and contributing." "You will," Zira replied, her eyes glinting. "But remember, integration is not about imitation. It is about understanding, adapting, and maintaining your own integrity. Your human traits are what make you valuable here. Do not lose them." As the banquet concluded, Ethan walked through the gardens with Zara. The night was alive with glowing flora, and distant creatures called softly. "You have done more than Survive the trials and the festival, Zara said. You have begun to understand our society, but integration is ongoing. You must continue to observe, act wisely, and earn trust. Ethan looked around, taking in the alien beauty. It is overwhelming, but I feel a sense of purpose here. I want to belong, not just survive. Zara nodded. That is what matters. My mother and the council respect those who seek understanding. You have begun to earn that respect. A sudden commotion drew their attention. A group of city elders approached carrying a ceremonial object, an intricately designed orb that glowed with alien energy. It was a symbol of alliance, offered only to those who had proven themselves capable of understanding Vrylan culture. Zira gestured toward Ethan. This is for you, human. You have navigated trials, festivals, and observation. You are now a recognized participant in our society. This does not grant you complete acceptance, but it signifies that your presence is respected. Ethan stepped forward cautiously and accepted the orb. A wave of light pulsed through it, and he felt a subtle shift in the energy of the room. The Vrylan present bowed or nodded, acknowledging his achievement. For the first time, he felt that he truly belonged, not just as a guest or survivor, but as someone capable of contributing meaningfully to this society. Zara smiled, her amber eyes warm. You have done well, human. But tomorrow brings new challenges, alliances, obligations, and choices that may affect not only you but also our people. Ethan nodded, aware that the journey was far from over. He had survived trials, festivals, and rival challenges, but true integration required ongoing observation, diplomacy, and understanding. As he gazed at the city below, glowing under the alien night sky, he realized that this world, dangerous, complex, and beautiful, was now his home as much as Earth had been. He was human, far from home, but he had proven that ingenuity, courage, and respect could bridge worlds. The morning sun rose over Vrylis Prime, casting a warm green-gold glow across the crystal towers. Captain Ethan Hayes stood at the heart of Zara's family estate, his eyes scanning the grand ceremonial hall. Today marked the culmination of his journey, a day that would decide not only his future among the Vrylan but also the alliance between their people and humanity. The hall was a marvel. Light refracted through crystal walls, scattering rainbows across polished floors. Floating, platforms hovered above, holding glowing symbols and delicate ornaments that pulsed with alien energy. Vrylan from across the city gathered, their movements precise and elegant, exuding an aura of honor and power. Zara approached, her amber eyes filled with quiet pride. Today is the day, human. The council and my mother will recognize your contributions, your courage, and your understanding. But remember, respect and humility are as important as skill and ingenuity. Ethan nodded. I understand. I've learned much, and I hope I can continue to honor your people. High Matriarch Zira entered the hall, her presence commanding attention. The crowd fell silent as she moved forward, emerald chitin gleaming. She gestured toward Ethan. Captain Hayes, Zira began, her voice deep and resonant. You have traveled far from your home, faced our trials, observed our customs, and integrated yourself into our society. You have demonstrated courage, intelligence, and honor, qualities we value above all. Today we formally recognize your presence among us. The hall erupted with soft clicks and hums of approval. Vrylan elders nodded, while Zara's eyes glimmered with pride. Ethan felt a mix of awe and humility. This recognition was more than personal achievement. It symbolized trust between humans and Vrylan, a bond that could reshape the future. Zira continued. We offer you not only recognition, but also a ceremonial alliance. This does not bind you to tradition blindly, but acknowledges your understanding and respect for our culture. You may choose to stand with us as ally and friend, shaping a future together. Ethan took a deep breath. He had faced the wildlands, rival suitors, festivals, and the challenges of integration. Now he faced the ultimate decision. "I accept," he said clearly. "I will honor your people, respect your culture, and work toward a future that benefits both our worlds." A soft wave of approval passed through the crowd. Vrylan elders approached, offering symbols of the alliance, crystalline emblems infused with energy that resonated with the recipient. Ethan accepted them with care, feeling the weight of their meaning. Each emblem represented trust, responsibility, and unity. Zara stepped forward, smiling warmly. "You have earned your place, Captain, and more than that, you have earned my respect and friendship." Ethan returned the smile, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. "And I have earned yours, Zara. Your guidance has been invaluable." The final part of the ceremony was the ceremonial hunt, a tradition that symbolized unity and skill. Ethan was led to a vast arena in the wildlands where both human and Vrylan participants would demonstrate cooperation, strategy, and honor. The creatures present were formidable yet respected, a reminder that survival depended on understanding and balance rather than brute force. Ethan observed his team, a mix of Vrylan warriors and humans trained in adaptation techniques. His knowledge of strategy, gained from the trials, gave him an edge. He guided the team carefully, observing patterns in the creature's movements and predicting behaviors. At a critical moment, one of the creatures lunged unexpectedly. Ethan's quick thinking allowed him to redirect it toward a containment field without harm. The Vrylan nearby nodded in approval, impressed by his ingenuity and respect for life. Zira watched from the edge of the arena, her expression approving. "You demonstrate not only skill, human, but also wisdom. That is rare and valuable." The hunt concluded successfully with all creatures unharmed and all participants demonstrating honor, teamwork, and intelligence. The crowd celebrated, and Ethan felt a profound sense of belonging. He had not only survived the challenges but had contributed meaningfully, earning respect in a way that went beyond survival. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the crystalline city, the ceremonial hall was filled once again. Zira approached, Ethan and Zara, her eyes reflecting pride and satisfaction. "You have proven yourselves," Zira said. "The alliance is recognized. The human and Vrylan peoples may now work together, guided by mutual respect and understanding. Captain Hayes, your presence here is no longer that of an outsider. You are a trusted participant in our society." Ethan bowed. "Thank you, High Matriarch. I will honor this trust and do my best to strengthen the bond between our worlds." Zara placed her hand lightly on Ethan's arm. "And together, we will face the challenges ahead. Our cultures are different, but our values of courage, ingenuity, and honor are the same. That is what unites us." Ethan looked around the hall, seeing the faces of Vrylan elders, warriors, and citizens alike. He felt a deep sense of connection. Despite being far from Earth, he realized that humanity's qualities, resilience, creativity, and moral courage, were recognized and respected here. The HFY truth was clear. Human ingenuity and honor could earn trust, friendship, and even leadership in a world far from home. The final act of the ceremony was symbolic. Ethan and Zara approached the central platform, where a crystal orb representing the alliance was placed. Together they touched it, and a pulse of light spread throughout the hall. It was a sign of unity, trust, and shared purpose. The crowd erupted in soft clicks and hums, acknowledging the bond that had been formed. Zira stepped forward, placing a hand on the orb. "Let this light be a reminder. Strength without wisdom, courage without honor, and knowledge without respect are meaningless. You have shown all three, human. You have earned this recognition." Ethan felt a rush of emotion. He had faced fear, danger, and cultural complexity. Yet he had adapted, respected, and succeeded. He was not just a survivor. He was a trusted ally and friend of the Vrylan. Zara smiled warmly. "Captain, you are human, far from home, but you belong here now. You have proven that even in a world of deadly beauty and complex traditions, humanity's qualities, ingenuity, honor, and courage, are admired and valued. Ethan nodded, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. And I will continue to honor that trust, guiding our worlds toward understanding and cooperation. As the ceremony concluded, the city erupted in celebration. Light shimmered across crystal towers. The wildlands glowed with bioluminescent life, and the people of Vrylis Prime recognized a new era of cooperation. Humans and Vrylan would face the galaxy together, guided by mutual respect and shared courage. Ethan looked at the horizon, thinking of Earth and the vast universe beyond. He realized that his journey had begun with a simple step, a human traveling to an alien world. But it had grown into something far greater. He had proven that humanity could not only survive but thrive, even among the most alien and challenging cultures. As night fell, Ethan and Zara walked through the glowing gardens of the estate, reflecting on the journey. "You have done more than I could have imagined," Zara said softly. "You have adapted, contributed, and earned respect. That is rare, even among Vrylan." Ethan smiled. "I had guidance, courage, and the chance to learn, and I never gave up, even when the challenges seemed impossible." Zara nodded. "That is why you belong here. The galaxy may be vast, full of danger and wonder, but humans like you remind us that resilience, ingenuity, and honor can shine anywhere." Ethan gazed at the night sky, glowing with stars and distant worlds. He felt a profound sense of purpose. He was human, far from home, yet fully recognized, respected, and trusted in this alien world. He had survived the trials, integrated into society, and formed bonds that would last generations, and he knew that this was only the beginning. Together, humans and Vrylan would explore the universe, face challenges, and prove that courage, intelligence, and honor could unite even the most diverse cultures. Ethan Hayes, human, had completed his journey, and in doing so had shown the galaxy that humanity was not just a survivor species. Humans were adaptable, ingenious, and honorable, a force to be respected and admired across the stars. The light from the crystal city reflected in his eyes, and he smiled. A new era had begun, not just for himself, but for all humans, and Vrylan alike.